So hello and welcome everybody to the Roundtable's hands-on training workshop on virtual legal marketing and business development for law firms. This workshop has been approved for 1.5 hours of ethics CLE credit. My name is Melissa Rogozinski. I'm the CEO of the Roundtable. I will be your speaker today. Our sponsor is RPC Strategies, a legal marketing and sales enablement consulting firm. Jeannie Pond, Operations and Project Manager, will guide you through the hands-on training exercises later in this program. Please remember the Roundtable workshops are not intended to be sales pitches or demos, but rather they are an opportunity to learn how to test drive a technology that provides a potential solution to today's legal topic. At the end of the workshop, you'll receive a short survey from Jeannie, our Operations Manager, and we'll ask that you take a couple minutes to provide us some feedback on the format of the workshop. Please also let us know any legal technologies and topics that you would like to see in future Roundtable events. At this time, please disable your video and mute yourself. If you have any questions or technical issues during the workshop, please contact Nick Baltazar via the Zoom chat. So as we get started on today's program, I want to set the stage for you. Most of what we've done with the Roundtable, RPC Strategies, and their predecessors was geared towards helping legal tech vendors connect in meaningful ways with law firms. However, because of my background in law firms, I was a litigation paralegal for 11 years in the first part of my career. A lot of my attorney colleagues began reaching out to me for assistance in marketing and business development. With the sudden changes in the work from home environment driven by the pandemic, law firms in particular found themselves not quite as ready for business continuity as they would like to have been. COVID exacerbated the need to accept and adopt technologies for the efficiencies that they really provide. Up until now, most law firms believe that marketing and business development are separate functions, and one is an expense and one is an investment. For that reason, when budgets needed to be cut due to weather the pandemic storm, marketing folks kind of found themselves on the short end of that stick. But I want to challenge you to rethink that model. Marketing and sales or business development should actually be aligned to work together, and the right technology setup can automate that process with a hyper-focused feed to your law firm's ROI and revenue growth. I'm not going to teach you today how to do your own marketing strategy. What I am going to teach you are all the technologies behind your marketing strategy that you should have, that should be integrated, and that will allow you to manage compliance with ABA rules and guidelines, the Can-Spam Act, social media ethics, and especially data privacy laws. So in today's agenda, I'm going to cover 4 points with you. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about buyer personas. We're going to talk about the technology pieces that I told you about and how to be competent with those, and what that marketing operations backend looks like, how that feeds and makes efficient your ability to stay compliant with the rules and guidelines that we're going to discuss during the program. And I'm going to tie it up with data privacy, because data privacy is such a hot topic right now. And with the work from home environment, it's been much easier to be compromised through technology. So when I'm done, Jeannie is going to take you through a hands-on training workshop through LinkedIn. And that is a component that's going to allow you to test drive a technology that answers today's legal topic. So that's designed for you to actually interact with on the hands-on training component. So be prepared to have, if you have a separate monitor, that's great. Be prepared to have a separate browser window open when we start the hands-on training component, so that you can follow along with Jeannie as she guides us through how to use LinkedIn for marketing and business development. So creating buyer personas, what are they? How do we create them, and why do we need them? The reason I want to touch on buyer personas, or some law firms may call them client personas, you're going to hear me use a couple of terms that may be interchangeable. Buyer personas, client personas are the same thing. Sales, business development, same concept. Most of what we see law firms post are about awards and accolades, cases, things like that. There is a better way to design content that will really target and reach your chosen buyers, your prospects, a lot more efficiently and faster. So that's why we want to understand what our client personas are. Client personas are fictional and generalized representations of your ideal client. Who are you really targeting? They're based on market research as well as insights from your own client base. When we combine these exercises with the life cycle or the sales cycle stage, then we understand kind of where they are in that process, what's important to them, and that allows us to create highly targeted marketing and business development campaigns. So how do we create buyer personas? Well, there's several things that we look at. We look at their background. What is their current job? What is the career path that helped them to get there? What is their family background alongside of their job? Demographics, what is their gender, their age, their income, their location? Are they in an urban area? Are they in the suburb? Are they in the metro? Identifiers. This is really about how do they communicate? How do they send and receive and interpret communication and information? What are their professional goals? Based on where they are right now in their job, what is the career path? Like, what are their goals in their current job and in their progression of their career? What are the challenges to the success of the perpetuation of their careers and their professional goals? And then finally, what are the potential objections that they may have to your services? It may be a direct objection, or it may be an objection that is something they can't control on their end. So how do we use the buyer personas? So once we have dug in and done the research and really fleshed out all of these pieces of what your ideal client looks like, now we understand how to help craft an elevator pitch that can be consistent across all of your branding and marketing messaging. And then that also allows us to create, I talked about a lot of law firms putting out awards and accolades and events and case studies. But what clients really want to hear is that you understand their pain points and that your services can help them resolve their pain points. So it's not about the awards and accolades so much as it is, how do you solve their problems? Okay. And you've got to communicate to them in the way that they receive that information. They are looking for it in their way, and they know how to find you. And once you start securing leads through proper marketing messaging, then you can start that business development workflow process. How do you recognize when you've got a good prospect or a good lead? How do you reach out to them by phone, by email? Kind of what is that script? What are the touch points along that process to get them through that sales cycle and to secure an engagement with a new client? So now I'm going to move into the technology competence. So now that you've got, an idea of how to really create marketing messaging and how to meet your prospects where they are, your clients, how are you going to manage the lead and data information that's coming into you as a result of those efforts? What kind of technology tools are you going to use? And how are you going to set those technologies up to really harness that data, and what is the value of that data that you're collecting? Even the best marketing strategy can't work without the appropriate technology set up to manage it. So where do your leads originate? Your website is the window into your business, so we'll talk about that. How do you process those leads, and what is your workflow process? So there's about 4 or 5 technologies that we recommend. And again, having these technologies, setting them up, managing them, integrating, that's not your job as lawyers. I understand that. But the reason I'm going down this path is because you do actually need to know these technologies. You need to know how they should be working if they're not working the right way in your firms, because all of the rules and guidelines that we will cover make it very clear that at the end of the day, it is your responsibility as a lawyer to monitor all the messaging that's going out on your behalf and the data that you're collecting. And if anything comes in or somebody exercises a data privacy request, you have to know where that data lives. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility as an attorney and a business manager to understand these technologies. So your website and CTA form. So CTA stands for call to action. Those are like your contact forms on your website, or like a chat bot if you have a chat bot. That's all collecting information. So what kind of data are you collecting? We recommend 3 fields on any of those forms, maybe 5. First name, last name, email. That's all you need. Company and phone number are optional. You don't have to have it, but as you work through that process, then you'll have an opportunity to get more information from those leads anyway. A business card scanner. This is really a cool application because the business card scanner, let's see. Yes, we'll get a copy of the recording. The business card scanner, I really like this because it's an application on my cell phone that I can take with me to any networking or trade show or conference. And we all know that when we go there, we have a plan. It's very easy to get off the rails at any one of these events. And you're collecting tons of business cards. Like I have 2 business cards right now sitting on my desk. But when you're at one of these events, if you have a business card scanner, you can scan the card and it will capture the information, the first name, last name, title, company, phone number, email, all of those things, and just make sure when you use that, you check to make sure that it captured the information correctly, make any edits as necessary, and then you can save that. And it's great because that way you don't lose business cards. You can actually make notes about what you were talking to about with that person, and you'll know to follow up. You won't lose that opportunity by just collecting a stack of business cards. Social media and email campaigns. I want to talk a little bit about this. Social media, it's what we're going to be talking about. Jeannie's going to touch on it in LinkedIn, is about posting your own blog articles, engaging with your network, meeting the prospects, things like that. But the great thing about a social media manager application, not the person, but the application, is that you can actually create a couple weeks worth of social media posts. Maybe you wrote a blog article and you did a video, and you can take pieces from that and create multiple social media posts. Well, you can plan that out. The social media manager applications have a calendar, so you can plan that out a couple weeks in advance and set it to run, and it will just run for you and post on the days and times you told it to. So you don't have to think about some of that stuff for a while. The other thing about a social media manager is that it allows you to connect all of your social channels. So particularly in law, we're mostly using LinkedIn, Twitter, if sometimes Facebook, but it allows you to bring all of those accounts under one roof. And so you can see what's going on in real time on all of your social media platforms. If people are engaging in real time, you might be able to comment, talk back with them. And it's also going to let you run analytics reports so you see who's engaging, what they're interested in, and things like that. And as far as email campaigns, probably one of the most critical things that we teach people is you've got to make sure you've got a clean list. Buying a list or sponsoring an event and, like a massive trade show or something and getting a list from that, you just need to make sure that the lists are clean, because if you have unresponsive subscribers or bad email addresses, that can clutter your list and it will turn high bounce rates. And all of these email campaign providers are using a common server for multiple campaign clients. And if your account shows that you have bad lists and you're creating spam and high bounce rates, they'll shut you down in order to keep that server clean for the rest of their clients. Another cool thing about email campaign applications is they have a subscriber scoring system. And this is really nice because when someone opens or clicks, or they do this multiple times on something that you've sent out, it gives them points. And so they get what we call a subscriber score. And the higher the score, the more engaged they are. And again, you can run analytics reports out of all these, and you can see where the engagement's happening, what kind of content people are interested in. And that helps you not only with your marketing messaging, but it also helps you to understand why people are opening your emails, because they're interested in something you have to say. And that gives you better idea of where they might fit in as a potential client or networking partner. All of these applications are great. Your website, your business card scanner, social media, email, it's great. But the key to making this all work the way it needs to is having a practice management tool or a CRM where all of these pieces are integrated and they feed into that practice management. That way you have all of your data in one place. and the CRM is going to give you a lot more insight at one punch. And I'm going to talk about some of the compliance issues where your CRM is really going to play a key factor. So the value of data. This is actually, Nick did a little bit of research here and helped to provide some of these statistics. If you have this technology set up the right way, this marketing and business development technology set up the right way, and it's integrated and it's working for you the way that it's supposed to, it will increase productivity by 30% on average. You will see a much higher conversion rate of some of the prospects that you're talking to or trying to court. Certainly an increase in revenue. I don't think there's anybody here that wouldn't want to see a 25% increase in revenue. And certainly having that data available to you allows you to see, interactions with your clients real time, and that allows you to deliver better customer satisfaction. And so just to tie up this part of the knowledge portion, Tim Berners-Lee, if you've heard that name, he's the founder of the World Wide Web. He commented one time that it's difficult to imagine the power you're going to have when so many different sorts of data are available. So now let's talk a little bit about the CAN-SPAM Act and social media advertising and ethics, because these technologies are going to make it more efficient and easier for you to stay in compliance with some of these things. So for the CAN-SPAM Act addresses all email communications that the primary purpose is commercial advertisement or promotion of business services. So number one, don't use false or misleading header information. Always make sure that your from, your to, your reply to, and routing information accurately identify the person or business who initiated the message. Number two, don't use deceptive subject lines. The subject line must be accurate and reflect the content of the actual message. Number three, identify the message as an ad. The law gives some leeway on how to do this, but you need to be very clear and conspicuous that your message is an advertisement. And we'll define an advertisement here in just a minute. Tell recipients where you're located. You do actually have to give them a physical, valid address where you're located. Tell recipients how to opt out from receiving future emails. If they want to unsubscribe, then you've got to make that clear. They have the right to unsubscribe, and you need to provide that ability very clearly to them. Honor their opt-out request. This is a back-end function between the campaigns and the practice management or CRM. When somebody clicks the unsubscribe in an email campaign, it needs to be able to opt them out in all of your applications where you're collecting information. Everywhere that they live, that one click on unsubscribe needs to hit all of those other technologies that you're using and make sure that they are pulled out of all lists so that they don't accidentally get emailed. If they get accidentally emailed again, you run the risk of someone reporting you as abusive. And if you're reported as abusive, again, those campaign providers will shut you down. And then finally, monitor what others are doing on your behalf. We're going to see this theme consistent across all the things I'm talking about with you. At the end of the day, it is the lawyer's responsibility to monitor all messaging that's going out and make sure that you're in compliance with the rules and guidelines that dictate how lawyers can and can't advertise for their services. So I said we would define advertising. Advertising, according to the rules and guidelines, all forms of communication seeking legal employment, both written and spoken. So I'm just going to touch on a very high level on a couple of things, but for your purposes, be sure that you know the rules for compliance and ethics in your own jurisdiction, wherever you're trying to do business. If you're in Florida, trying to do business in New York, then you need to know Florida and New York rules and guidelines, okay? So ABA rules of professional conduct. Again, I'm just touching on a high level. Rule 7.1, basically what you need to take away from this is ask yourself, is this communication false, deceptive, or misleading? If you can answer no to all three of those, then your advertising messaging is fine. 7.1 goes on to say statements made for the purposes of advertising legal services should be objectively verifiable. In other words, don't use specialist, specialty, expert, expertise, best, words like that. You can use dedicated, mission, philosophy, and goal. 7.2 digs a little bit deeper, specifically into some of these rules. Again, I'm just highlighting the types of media, and it addresses the types of media where you might be putting out some of your marketing messaging. Compensation, obviously no bribing anybody to promote your services. That's unethical. You can't do that. But you may pay a reasonable cost for marketing and advertising services, whether it's a consultant or firm doing your advertising or it's a paid social campaign. And obviously utilization of qualified lawyer referral services. So I want to hit a little bit on Florida and New York in these next two slides, because Florida and New York of all of the states are the strictest when it comes to social media and advertising ethics. And we'll have a copy of this presentation for everybody when it's over, so you can dig a little deeper. Basically, your personal social media pages, as long as you're not using them to advertise your legal services, are not subject to the lawyer advertising rules. Any social media pages that are used to promote your services are subject to lawyer advertising rules. The Florida State Bar even includes some requirements to submit your advertising messages in advance for approval by the bar prior to distribution. And in New York has a social media ethics think tank that developed some of their guidelines. And they start out by saying attorneys should periodically monitor their social media pages at reasonable intervals to ensure that others are not endorsing them as specialists, as well as to confirm the accuracy of any endorsements or recommendations. So again, like I said, the reason it's important to understand the technologies behind your marketing and business development strategies is because at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to make sure that you are in compliance with the rules and ethics. And like I said, data privacy issues that are coming up now. So data privacy law, what is PII, and how are we going to tie all of this to help you stay compliant in marketing? Data privacy law, the unauthorized, this is from the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, the unauthorized disclosure of personal information and the loss of privacy can have devastating effects for individuals, ranging from financial fraud, identity theft, unnecessary costs to personal time and finances, destruction of property, harassment, reputational damage, emotional stress, and even potential physical harm. Now, we're not going to go through all of the states, but the IAPP, the International Association of Privacy Professionals, they keep this map updated on a weekly basis. So you might want to take a note of this URL and go check this out and see where your state lies, where they are in the process of introducing and passing data privacy laws. We know that California and Virginia have officially signed into law their own data privacy laws. So again, if you're doing business in either of those states, you need to understand what those data privacy laws are. And so what is PII? PII is personally identifiable information. And the reason I'm showing you this slide is because there are so many different things that you may be collecting on clients or prospects or your network in any way. Your website's collecting these informations. Your CTAs, those call to action forms, they're collecting information, first name, last name, email. If you've got the company name, if you have a phone number, all of that is PII. And then as you're, working with prospects or collecting more information about potential cases, all of the information you're collecting on them and have access to is also PII. So you need to be sure you know where all of this lives and where it's collected, and manage that so that if at any time somebody calls and wants to know what information you have on them, you've got a central location to pull that. It's much easier. So this goes back to the 5 technologies we talked about: your website, your CTA forms, your social media, and email. All of those should be centralized and feeding into your practice management or CRM tool. Whatever you're using for marketing and business development, it needs to be feeding into one location so you have access to this. So as far as your website and being compliant with data privacy laws, be sure to provide clear and concise online privacy and cookie policies. On your web forms, you might want to consider having a "do not sell my personal information" checkbox on the form. You can still collect their information, you just can't distribute it or sell it. Social media. I don't want to talk too much about paid campaigns because there's some cases out there now that Google and AT&T and Verizon and Facebook and all of these platforms that collect information and sell it to advertisers for paid campaigns, there are lawsuits out now. Consumers are starting to fight back for their privacy. So, so I don't want to dig too much into social media because now there's cases that may change that game. Emails, be sure that you list dedicated contact information where a consumer can submit a request for the personal information you have about them. And then just some final thoughts before we hand this over to Jeannie. Privacy by default is no longer a concept or an abstract idea. It is the adherence moving forward to principles and rights enumerated now by statute. Marketing teams, your legal marketing teams, like other components of the business, must understand the weight of the data that they're collecting, leveraging, and maintaining, and how to protect that, and bake that into the understanding into policies, procedures, and processes. So with that, we are going to hand the presentation over to Jeannie with RPC Strategies. She's going to take a few minutes to provide you with a background of RPC, and then we'll spend some time going through LinkedIn for the hands-on training exercise with her. And again, remember, this is the workshop component. So please go ahead and open up a browser window, preferably on a separate monitor. We want you to engage with this training exercise because I've taught you a little bit about the law and compliance, but now Jeannie is going to show you how to use your LinkedIn to brand your business and to really leverage the power behind LinkedIn for marketing and business development purposes.
All right. Hey, everybody. Are you ready to get your hands dirty? I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds to go ahead and pull up an internet browser. And if you have two screens, like Melissa said, that's awesome. It's optimal. But if you only have one, I highly recommend that you split the screen and use half of it to follow along and watch what she's doing, and then do your best to kind of do the same thing and follow along. Okay, so let's get going. Who am I? I'm Jeannie Pond. I'm the operations manager for RPC Strategies. I have over 20 years of various types of marketing experience, but today we're just going to focus on LinkedIn. So let's go ahead and get started. You all see my screen okay?
Yep, looks great, Jeannie.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so what is it? LinkedIn is a place for professional branding. It's a place so that you can be discoverable, and it rewards employee participation. So you want to encourage as many of your fellow attorneys or even anybody that works in the office to use it regularly. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go through here. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the why. And as brief as this is, I'm going to go ahead and ask Melissa to go ahead and share her screen so we can show you guys how this works best.
Okay, let me get in there. Screen 3. There we go. Okay, can you see my Google?
Perfect. Let me adjust real quick. All right, perfect. So the first thing I want you to do is go into that Google and type your name in and then do a search.
This is the time for everybody else to start engaging and pull up a browser and Google your own name too. There's a point behind doing this.
And there it is. This is your main why. And the reason is to be found. So LinkedIn's algorithms has worked very hard to make sure that when you search your own name, that their entry is the very first one. Okay. So have you guys all looked?
If you've done that, go ahead and put done in the chat. Let's see.
Awesome.
There we go.
There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to jump right into LinkedIn. So, all right, and the first thing we want to explore is the search bar because that is your keys to the kingdom. So Melissa, if you will, go ahead and type in virtual legal marketing. And it auto-populates usually. Let's see our results. And so we have several different categories here. You've got people, companies, posts, jobs, groups, schools, events, courses, services, and all the filters. So you can filter that out. One of the things I want to point out is the people that are in the top 3, they got there by having those keywords in their description. Okay, so hint, hint, hint. If you want to be found by what you do, you might want to put that in the description under your profile picture, and we'll get to that in a few seconds. All right, so Melissa, is there anything that you would want to show specifically in this page?
Well, I want my name to show up there first, but we'll get there. Events, because I'm always looking for events to educate myself. I mean, that's, one of the things that we do. I mean, lawyers have to have a lot of CLE credits. So,
and look, it's magic. There we are.
There we are. Yay. Not that this wasn't planned, but
All right, so I highly recommend on your own time to type in your own practice area and see what comes up. And if it isn't your name, again, you have work to do. So next we're going to look at the home page. So Melissa, if you'll go up to the nav bar where all those red dots are and click on home, let's look at that. What does it mean when that red dot is on the home?
Yeah, so whether you're using LinkedIn proficiently or not, if anything where it has red, it means that there's an update. So on the home, for me, that means that there's an update to my news feed, and that's usually coming from the people that I'm connected to on a first connection basis. This red dot on the network, I haven't clicked on it yet, but it's probably I've either connected with somebody or somebody accepted an event that I posted. And then these notifications, somebody somewhere is engaging with something that I've posted, or LinkedIn may be telling me that somebody posted something I might be interested in, but it's always about my first connections.
Awesome. So what are the elements? What do we got going over there in the left-hand column?
So this is my profile and who viewed my profile and views of whatever the most recent post was. And this is because I'm the admin on a few pages, but down here, these are my recent searches. So it'll allow me to go back. These are events, groups, hashtags that I may be following. So I can see if somebody else hashtag marketing strategies, I can click on that and it'll pull up post across LinkedIn to see what else is being put out there about marketing strategies.
Okay, and then, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of, I like to see who's checking me out. Why? Okay, what's next?
Oh, okay. So in the center column, you have your news feed, and this is populated by the algorithms. It's based on people that you follow. It's based on things that you search and groups that you are involved in. So it knows what you're looking for. What have you got going on there, Melissa? What do you like to look at?
So there's a few people in my feed. Colin Levy, I follow him. He's a corporate lawyer, but he just recently went in-house into marketing business development at WordRake. And Colin's very prolific. He's got a lot of connections. And so when he posts something, he gets a lot of feedback. And you can see here, he's used a couple of hashtags. He doesn't overdo it. He's using about 5 here. We don't recommend any more, but they're common. Like he's not creating something that's just unique to him. He's using hashtags that are common and other people will engage with. And he gets a lot of engagement. He gets comments. There's a conversation happening here. I like to read what Colin has to post. The second one is promoted. That's an advertisement. How and why they got my information. I can fix that. We can fix that later. We'll show you later. Chioma is a good colleague of mine. She is an e-discovery specialist, so forth and so on. So all these people I know, and these are people I'm connected to, and I really follow what they post because they're staying on top of topics and trends that I'm interested in to develop my own business and my own network.
Okay. All right, so let's go back up to the top nav bar. I want to click on my network and we're going to do some connection shopping.
Okay.
All right. So what do you have up there at the top?
So somebody else, like I thought, it's somebody accepted my invitation. This is either where somebody accepted a connection request, made a connection request to me, or accepted an event that I posted because we obviously do a lot of events. So And this shows I have over 3,000 connections, and there's a number of contacts among that. So I'm going to stop there. I don't want to go too heavy into that.
Yeah. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit and look where LinkedIn is trying to help you out and do some connection shopping. A little bit too far. That's good. Whoa. Okay, and so we're going to actually connect with someone. I'll just show them how. You don't necessarily have to do this right now, but if you will, just click on Tyler Hall's picture. So I want to make a point here. This is one way to do this. You can connect with people based on what LinkedIn suggests, but never just go ahead and click on the connect button back in that last screen. You always want to go and click on the blue connect button. And if you click on that blue connect button, it will give you the opportunity to add a message. You always want to add a note, a well thought out note that tells them why you're interested, a little bit about who you are, or what you just generally would like to convey to them. Never just send out a connection. It's creepy.
Yeah, I get people that connect with me and I'll go look at their profile and, you know, they're just, it's spam or they're trying to sell me something. I mean, there's got to be, again, I'm just picky. It's got to be a good business reason. It has to be something that we can mutually do for each other. People want to work together.
All right, so here's something fun we can do. If you're not connected to Rogo or me or Nick or even Chris, I see Chris here. Go ahead and try and connect with us on LinkedIn. Is there anybody here that would like to, like for Melissa to connect with them that does not have a connection? If you do, put your name in the chat and she'll connect with you.
Oh. Yeah, I see Randy. So I'm going to, like Jeannie said, I'm going to click on his profile and add a note. So I'm going to say, hi, Randy. I met you at today's virtual legal marketing CLE. Would love to connect and share ideas. Okay. So Randy, you're going to hurt my feelings if you don't accept my connection.
All right. Y'all ready to move on? So let's talk about notifications. I see that you have a few.
Okay.
Okay. I see, and I'm sorry, your screen is really tiny because I have two scripts going on here, but I see that you have been, Chris liked your post. Let's see, you have an event coming up and you need to share the post. Walk me through that and tell me about one of the things that you would find most useful there.
These are posts that we've been putting out about the event today. And then these are some of my connections that, you know, attend some of the events or some of the staff that works for us that go in and engage those. This was really kind of a cool one here. I'm going to stop that because Jeannie's going to talk about this. This is LinkedIn. I filmed this video yesterday and I posted it natively to LinkedIn. Jeannie will tell you why. And then I sent the link to my staff and they go in and engage and comment. And there's a couple of extra people that have added on to this too. So I'm going to go back to my posts and activities though. Go ahead, Jeannie.
I was going to ask everybody as you're following along, go ahead and post one of the first three things that's in your LinkedIn in your notifications. Post it in the chat for us and let's see what we got going on. There might be really interesting things that we need to follow. All right. Awesome.
Rayleigh rundown on what that is.
Yeah. I feel bad I'm the only one who's not doing it, but I can't, there's no way I can open up LinkedIn and do all this too. Okay, so next let's go back to your profile, Melissa, if you will click on your small picture there. Thank you. And then click on view profile. Awesome. Yep. And you see Melissa's profile pops up and we're going to talk about some of the essential elements. So first and foremost, the thing that gets the most attention is, of course, going to be your profile picture. So if you'll click on that, let's talk about the elements of a good profile picture. So what I'm seeing is a very approachable, happy woman. She's dressed professionally. She's wearing her company's brand colors. So this is a very successful version of what would be a great profile picture. All right, let's look at the banner. So in the banner again, we're following through with the branding colors. Rogo gives some good information about why you would want to talk to us. And then she also gives as many ways as she possibly can as how to get to us. And then the ever-present Phoenix is in the lower right-hand corner. So again, perpetual branding, push it through. Can you do me a favor right quick? Jump to the RPC strategies page to show them how the business page and your page have the branding.
Okay.
That goes together.
Yeah, so your personal profile and then your company page, we need to make sure that branding is consistent.
All right, awesome.
The Phoenix, the colors, the text, those are important branding features. It keeps that blend across the board consistent. So when people see that, they know who they're working with.
And then even, I mean, if you look down even further on your feed, you can see the colors following through. Everything we do, we put out with our branding colors on there. Okay, so let's go back and get more into your profile again. We're going to do a little bit of editing.
All right.
All right, so to edit, will you click on the pencil that's underneath your Phoenix? And you guys follow along with us.
Okay.
All right. In this section, we're going to specifically focus in on headline because as you can see behind it, just under her picture is her headline. And this should include your company name. It should include your job title and distinguishing services that make you unique and also searchable. Remember before when we were searching by name or subject, if you have those words in your headline, it makes you more searchable. So then also, I like at the very bottom, Melissa has something that makes her unique. What is it?
Everything about me is unique. Look at the color of my hair. I'll put something in chat that I know is searchable for me, that I want people to find me. So, and I always use the hashtag for it. So there's a couple of things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So while she's doing this, you guys add some things into the chat as well that you would put in your headline to make you unique or to try and make you stand out in a search.
Yeah, what is in your headline or what could you put in your headline that will allow people to find you on LinkedIn for your services?
And then while you guys are doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about other things that aren't necessarily, hands-on, but it's good information to know. Let's talk about the profile link. So you want to give people enough information, but the profile isn't for your entire story. It's a place for you to craft your best story. Additionally, there is a spot called About Me. Can you scroll down to that one?
Yeah, let me go over there. Right here.
Things to know about me. It's a place for you to, differentiate yourself from the others in your field just a little bit more. You can tell a little bit more about what you do, but you want to avoid cliches and you want to be specific to your niche. Because again, that makes you, it makes you more searchable. All right. So do we have any posts? That's okay. All right, so let's move on. And we're going to talk about leveraging your firm's network when you post. So Melissa, if you will navigate to your current favorite post, but not the video. We're getting to that one next.
Okay, view profile. Oh, I'm already on my profile. Post and activities. I forgot about that. Okay. So,
right, so yeah, Melissa is a master at this. And when she gets to the one, I want, if you will, tell everybody why you do what you do.
Right. All activity. I forgot about this. I need to, this will show you everything. So whatever you post or whatever you're engaging in, all activity. But in articles or where you can post your own blog articles, post is what I'm looking for. These are things that I have personally posted. So this one was kind of fun to do right here, the postcard one. You want me to talk about that, Jeannie?
Yes, please.
So this is, in marketing, it's, promoting your services is one thing, but really the idea behind what we're trying to teach you with LinkedIn is this is where a lot of our industry lives, and a lot of some of the clients you're going to be looking for. And this is where people are going to find you, like based on Google searches. And so, we post things like blog articles and videos and whatever, but it's really more about getting engaged and constantly seeing your name, your firm, because you're engaging, you're posting, you're liking, you're commenting, you're, networking with other people, or somebody has tagged you in their post or vice versa. All of these activities are marketing activities, and it's about branding you and your firm and your services so that you are constantly seen. The more you're seen, the more opportunities are going to come to you. And the reason we teach this is because we have built our own pipeline organically through social selling. That's what this is. It's called social selling. And our pipeline continues to feed itself. We have yet to actually have to cold call or reach out to anybody we're trying to prospect. All of our leads in our pipeline have come to us through social selling. And that's what we're trying to teach you. This is a safe way to stay in compliance with the rules and the guidelines, but to leverage a platform that was specifically designed for you. And it's all about branding. So, I just posted, and this was on a Friday, I think. So, everything doesn't have to always be so serious, but it was something that was nice and lighthearted. It was warm and fuzzy, made people feel good. When's the last time that you received a handwritten card from a business colleague? And not for business, I just want to say hi. I want to, I'm thinking about you. And I posted, if you'll DM me your address, send it to me privately, I would love to send you a handwritten card. And so I posted a picture of it. It's not even a great picture. And then I tagged Chris, Jeannie, Mark, Nick. I mean, these are people that that either work for me or I'm very close to. And then there's other people that I'm close to that I tagged as well. And the reason I did this is because it shows up on their feed. And that's something you have to be really careful about who you can't just tag just everybody. But you have colleagues that you're close to, and it's kind of a, I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back kind of thing. And they don't mind because we all know that means it's going onto our feed, and it means anybody I'm connected to is going to see something Doug Austin tagged me in, but maybe he's not connected to them, and vice versa. I'll tag Doug Austin, and often he'll make a comment or he'll share it on his feed as well. And so he's giving me exposure to his audience that I may not be connected to. And so we're all trying to help each other build our businesses and get, recognition. So this is also another way to do business development with LinkedIn. But what you'll see here is that when I tagged everybody over the last week or two or a couple of weeks, I've gotten almost 1,000 views of this post because I tagged just a handful of colleagues that I'm very close to. The other thing you'll see here is we've gotten 21 engagements. Again, the more engagements you get, the more brand awareness, more visibility you're getting. And so I can see all 14 people, and I'm connected to most of them on a first level basis. But then there's this guy here, James B. He's a second connection. So if he's a second connection to me, I'm not connected to him. He's probably connected to somebody else who did engage with this, or it showed up on their feed. And so I will go take a look at James's profile, and I will see if he's somebody that I think maybe I would like to be connected to for business purposes. And then, if I decide, yes, make that connection, add the note so he knows why I'm contacting him. I don't play games with people. This is what I do. This is why I'm connecting. And, so these are opportunities to meet people that you may be good just networkers, or may actually end up being a prospect as well. And then the comments, and this is just the fun part of it. Doug Austin gets involved. He and Jay had a dialogue back and forth. Ann Gore is a good colleague of, several of us are here today, Gail Group, and you see Ann's got 8 engagements. But the point behind this too is that the more engagements you get with things like this, every one of these gets you more points towards that LinkedIn algorithm. And the more visibility, more awareness that you're driving through LinkedIn, and you can do it in ways that are safe within the rules and guidelines, that really elevates your brand. And people will see you more often, and that gives you visibility. That makes you look proficient. That people will read your profile and they'll want to engage with you. And that's why it's so important to have like your services listed through your headline, and all these pieces we're talking about are pieces of a magnificent puzzle called LinkedIn, and how easy it is to make it work for you for your marketing and business development purposes.
Awesome. That was great. Next, let's talk about recommendations. And I'm going to just punt this to Melissa because she is the expert on making sure we do it right.
Sure. On recommendations, I'm going to go show you mine. As attorneys, you have to be really careful, and I am not here to give you the advice on that. I am not an attorney, but I have received several, I've given several, but all I want to say about this is just, again, be very cognizant of the guidelines and the rules of ethics that we have talked about your marketing messaging. You have to be very careful that even if somebody gives you a recommendation, LinkedIn will email it to you privately, and you need to review that recommendation and make sure that even the person giving it to you didn't use certain words that are prohibited by these guidelines. And you have the option of getting them to edit it or just not posting it at all. So, and again, it goes back to that underlying current that at the end of the day, no matter who's doing your marketing for you, as the lawyer, it is your ethical responsibility to monitor the posts, the recommendations, and things like that.
All right. You ready to look at that video now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, you have a question.
Bernadette, tag me in that.
Yeah. Can you click on that? Click on that and
Bernadette, why don't you jump in and tell us a little bit about this? Look at all the engagements that she's getting. Can you unmute yourself, Bernadette?
Yeah, there's over 6,000. I just tagged you, but I put your whole name in there and everybody else's first name. So yeah, I got 6,000 people looking at that, and I'm like, shoot, what can I do to get them to track back to my company? You know, I mean, somebody else posted a similar article and I said, that's why what we do at Legal Innovators is so blah, blah, blah. But look, 6,026 views of my post. That's incredible. Really.
That's, it's super incredible. And the interesting, you're the only person that can see how many hits you've gotten.
Oh, sorry, 6,000, whatever it was I told you. Yeah.
Yeah, but because you're the one that posted it, you're the only one that can see that. But like Bernadette said, like that's, and you see all these comments that are going back and forth about that. And this is the way to perpetuate your brand, and your personal profile is everything on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you're the only one that can see everything. So of all the people, how many of them do you actually have as connections or you interact with?
Hold on just a second. I'm trying to edit. Okay. All right. I edited her name. So she's in there. Rogo, did you get notice of that?
I did. I refreshed it, and my name is in here now. And then I went, okay. I did
So let's see, under 30. So yeah. So that's the whole thing. I mean, when I see somebody who's not a first degree connection, I always invite them to connect, because I see that, oh wait, here's one. Oops, I lied. Here's 3 people who are second degree connections. Whoops.
So I'm going to go connect with Megan.
I'm going to connect with these people and say, I see you like my post, blah, blah, blah.
So Megan works with you, right?
Yep. Liked my post. Let's connect. Okay, so now I've got a template for what I'm going to do. Bernadette, let me ask you something, Melissa, while I have you. Is it possible to put your link to your calendar in your invite, or does it blank it out if you have a URL? Do you know?
Your profile? No, I think you can actually add your calendar link in your profile, like in the about section.
No,
And
not that. I'm talking about when I send an invitation. I'm just going to do this right now and see if it works.
okay, let's see. You want to send it to me?
Hold on just a second. No, I'm getting sorry. I'm getting a video call from France. I can't take that. I'm trying to make it stop. Sorry.
France is calling.
Yeah, sorry. I can't do that. So I just connected with somebody who's a secondary connection who liked what I said there. And I'm just curious as to whether or not when I connect with them, if that link will go up. So I'm sending that. I'd have to connect with, I'll figure it out.
No, okay. Now I understand what you're asking. Okay. You're
Right.
asking if, and let's see.
When I'm sending somebody a connection request on LinkedIn.
A new one. Yeah. Let me, I'm going to send one to Jamin. I'm going to show everybody what she's talking about. Because Jamin and I are not connected. So,
Okay.
So what she's talking about is, so Jamin is a second. So Jamin and I are not connected.
Right.
So I'm going to hit connect so I can send him a message right here and add a note. Right here is what Bernadette is talking about. You cannot add a URL or a phone number here. The last time you checked, you can't do that. You just make the connection and then they have to accept. And at that point, you can exchange that information later. And you could do it within the messaging system, what have you. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
Does that answer your question, Bernadette?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you for participating, Bernadette. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to hop back on track?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's go to, if you will, find your favorite video that we were talking about.
Go back to my posts and activities.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's many, many videos that are my favorite, but we'll go to
The latest favorite.
the latest favorite.
Okay. And so the point of that we're going to make here is that there are two ways to put video out there in the world via LinkedIn, and the best way is called native. So what that means is Rogo took this particular video and she loaded it directly into LinkedIn. And then now Rogo, it's so tiny I can't read it. Tell me more about what you said up there on top.
Sure. And I'm going to digress for just a minute because Jamin accepted my connection. But here's what happens when he does that, because I can get back to this. He accepted. I wrote him a note about, hey, it was so nice to meet you at this event. Like I tell him why I'm contacting him. And then you see the little red dot now under my network. And if I click on that, it shows me, okay, well, because I've already accepted, but he responded to me too. So this is in my inbox in LinkedIn, and he just responded to me. So anyway, now I can have more interaction with Jamin. All right, so let me go back to the post. Thank you, Jamin. So this is the video that she's talking about. So, and there's others that we've done where we have a YouTube channel and it's more of a marketing thing and our videos are more professionally done. This is just off the cuff. I drove out to the beach yesterday. I live in West Palm Beach and did this short video. I always be sure that I keep it under a minute. 30 to 45 seconds is great. You don't want it to be any longer than that because people will see that. And it was just about this event, last chance to register, gave the registration link. But the thing about the videos here, and a few people engaged with that, and I could have added some hashtags or added some people to that too, and that would have kind of perpetuated it. But LinkedIn prefers to have native video. So shoot something on your smartphone, load it directly to LinkedIn and type your note in instead of loading a video to YouTube or some other service and using the URL from that other service in LinkedIn, if that makes sense. You will be rewarded by LinkedIn's algorithm if you upload video natively to your feed instead of from another service. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Right.
All right. So the final topic before we get into the action plan for busy professionals is a little bit of privacy and security settings. So Melissa, if you will navigate to the settings
Yeah.
and
So, yeah.
go ahead.
If you're in your LinkedIn right now, go ahead and go to your profile where I'm at, go to account settings and privacy. And when you've done that, if you don't mind, just type the word done in the Zoom chat so we know that you're there. I'm not going to go too far down into the rabbit hole with this, but data privacy and advertising data, this is completely up to you. So you want to go here and see what the settings are for how LinkedIn uses your data, how advertisers can find you, and if they can find you, because this goes back to that paid social thing that I mentioned earlier in the knowledge session. Paid, and there's these lawsuits, so I hesitate, but paid social is a thing, and this is how they find you. This is how, when somebody wants to promote an advertisement, they have multiple filters that go through, like all of those buyer persona things we talked about, your demographics, your age, your title, what size firm you're working at, where, what location you're in, where your geography is. All of those things are filters, and they can go in and select filters. They can really drill down, and that is what forces a paid advertisement to show up on your feed. You have the ability to change that here in these settings. So if you don't want to get those kinds of advertisements, or if you do, you have the ability to change those settings here on your own. So you do or don't show up in some of those filters for paid advertisement. Data privacy, this is all about how your data is used on LinkedIn. And again, these are personal preferences, but we wanted to show you where that's located so you have the ability to go in and actually change that. Okay.
I was just typing a message to Janet. I'll just tell you though, Janet, we're glad you're here. So I hope this is really helpful for you. All right, so now we get down to the nitty gritty and we put a test to what we've talked about. So the idea today is to be able to help you increase your visibility in 15 minutes a day with a minimum of 3 times a week. It's better if you do it every day, but in 15 minutes, we're going to see if, you ready, Melissa?
Sure.
We can log in and we're going to review the feed, and we're going to like, comment, and share on Mike Jackson's awesome post that is very humorous, but also professional.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is an attorney that is doing a really good job of leveraging his own LinkedIn profile. So right here, he's got the branded banner for his LinkedIn, a very nice professional headshot. Right here, experienced appellate litigation employment attorney, the name of the firm. He's done such a nice job with this. I'm going to go here to his activity, see all activity. And here in his posts, and this is fun. I mean, let me go back to all activity because I want to show a couple things. So this was posted on behalf of 2 of his other partners. There's an article that was written, and these guys, it's on their individual profiles, but then Mike Jackson is a partner. He always goes and engages with his partner's posts. And again, that elevates the LinkedIn algorithm, and when your staff and your employees and your other attorneys, when your partners interact with you with what you're posting, again, that all drives brand awareness. And so, but I love this. This was really cute. Mike posted this for Father's Day. To all the fathers around here, happy Father's Day belated. But he's great. Like, he posts something fun too. Like he posts business stuff and he engages and he makes comments. But he also posted something fun on Father's Day. And he did some hashtagging and he tagged a couple people, so it shows up on my feed. And I just thought it was great when you correct your children's text messages, and one of them may give you a great gift like this for Father's Day. They're there and there. So anyway, and he's got a lot of engagement here. So it's just fun. This is an attorney who has done a really good job in the last few months of leveraging his own LinkedIn profile and really perpetuating not only his personal brand for his practice, but the brand of his law firm as well.
And it makes him approachable again. It presents him as a human. It's fantastic.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is say congratulations to a connection, and you are going to say congratulations to Bernadette.
Okay. Because, Bernadette, we cherry picked you because I knew you were coming today. So Bernadette just started a new role.
You do it. Something to know also is that this can be alerted to you in your notifications. It's something that we highly recommend that you do. If there's 5 notifications that say that you have people who have had birthdays or anniversaries or have gotten a promotion, all you have to do is click and send a quick note and let them know that you're thinking about them. That is an easy way to get exposure. All right. Then again, we wanted to talk about blog articles, consistently posting personal content, whether it's blogs. Do you have time to write blogs yourself, Rogo?
No, I'm managing 2 businesses. I don't have time to write anymore.
Yeah. So what do you do about that?
I used to write a lot, but now I've got a ghostwriter who writes for me.
Okay, that's handy.
Yeah.
Another way to do that is to like and share relevant content to your practice. So as you go through your news feed, you can use those. You can also go outside of LinkedIn. You can find relevant news articles that you can post. But again, like we said before, that's directing people out of LinkedIn and they don't necessarily like that. However, you can still do that and make a comment and it will start, sometimes if it's good enough article, then it'll start dialogue. Okay, and then the last thing, are you ready to upload a video or we?
Why don't we just move into the Q&A right now?
All right, sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Who all has questions?
Let's go ahead and open this up. There we go. So you can unmute yourself and show your video and let's have a little dialogue and networking and Q&A and see what questions we can answer for you guys about branding and marketing and leveraging LinkedIn and some of the rules and guidelines. Bernadette wants to reduce the number of connections you have. You can actually go in and don't disconnect from me because I like you. Is that a serious question? Yeah, you can actually just go and remove yeah, you can. Let me go. I'm going to share my screen again. I'll show you how you can remove a connection. Let's see. All right. So I'm not going to remove him, but I'm going to pull Jamin up since, there we are. Let's see. My internet might be just a little bit slow right now. Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to remove him, but what you can do to remove a connection, and you're going to have to go and do this one at a time, but go to the More button and you can go here to remove a connection. So, but
there isn't a quick way to remove them all at once, is there?
No, you got 13,000, like, wow.
Hire an intern.
Yeah, hire an intern, Bernadette. That's what I would do. Yeah.
Are there any more questions?
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, let's see, we've got another chat. My internet's starting to slow down. Okay, contact me and I will put you in touch with an intern that knows how to do this. Okay. Let's see, my internet's starting to slow down a little bit. There we go. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead. So we're going to go ahead and since nobody has any questions, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Just want to thank Jeannie and Nick and all of our attendees for a really fun and engaging workshop. I hope that you took some applicable material away from this. And again, I know that the technology part is not really, part of practice of law, but you do need to understand what technology should be working for you, how they should be set up, so that you understand how to leverage them in order to stay compliant with, like I said, the ABA guidelines, CAN Spam Act, social media ethics, and certainly data privacy laws. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly at rogo@risingphoenix.guru. We'll be sending out a survey pretty soon and just ask that you please take a couple minutes and let us know what you thought about the workshop and what other legal technology topics that you would like to see in future events. So thanks again, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you soon.